love IGN Weekly.
It's the second day of E3 2006. By now we've heard from Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. We talked to the console makers. And by now we've also had a chance to play a lot of the third-party games. So we want to find out what's really hot, what's going to rise to the top. We're going to talk to some of my buddies at IGN Editorial, if we can find them that is, and see what's really going on with the top games this year. Wow, it's that rarest of sights. Doug Perry and Deep Thought. Doug, how's it going, man? E3 2006, you having a good time so far?
It's a great E3 for us. Absolutely.
As editor-in-chief of IGN Xbox and Xbox 360, what Xbox 360 games are you most excited to have played?
Okay, so obviously I've got a top 3, top 5. My top 3 is Gears of War, BioShock, and Mass Effect. All those games look fantastic. They're going to push the genre. In each genre that they're in, they're going to push the genre.
A lot of third-person action games, a lot of third-person shooters coming out of Xbox 360. But Gears of War is leading the class, you think, with that extra gritty feel?
Well, you know, up until now, we've just seen tech demos and tech demos of Gears of War, and I was so sick of that. Finally, they came in, and it was multiplayer, there was single player. We all sat down and played 16-player multiplayer. The game's visceral, has a lot of impact. You set up in teams. There's a chainsaw on the back of your gun. It's just freaking awesome. It's going to be great. I mean, I know that sounds like hype, but I just played it, and it's way fun. Everyone
knows that chainsaws and guns go very well together. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not hyping this time. Mass Effect, I haven't had a chance to see that myself. How's Mass Effect?
So everything that, BioWare does really well, they're taking to the nth level in action and RPGs. So they have great story branching. There's all sorts of, grays instead of black and whites, and your sort of Knights of the Old Republic style RPG. And then there's all sorts of fantastic facial animations and conversations with creatures and people that you would normally have just big text blocks with. Here they're taking it to, it's just so visually beautiful, and there's going to be so much depth in both the combat and the customization and the conversations.
So it's PC time, and I'm trying to find my best buddy, Dan, if he's nowhere to be found. And Dan, wake up, man. Come on, get up. The Spore line, I know everyone wants to see Spore. Get up, man. Everybody wants to see Spore, and I'm glad you're doing your job. That's good.
I'm trying.
But we have some questions to ask you. E3 2006 is barreling along. What's the hottest PC game you've seen so far?
The hottest PC game I've seen is probably Spore. I'm trying to get back in, and they wouldn't let me in again, so I'm waiting in line.
It's worth sleeping in line for to see again.
Yeah.
Okay. What about anything else? Any other shooter things like that were hot?
Yeah, Crysis is looking real good. That engine is a lot of fun. The actual game is a blast to play. It's kind of weird standing like 2 feet from a gigantic screen trying to play with the motion blur from DX10, but it's still a lot of fun. Any
new hot multiplayer games that maybe we didn't see, you didn't anticipate coming in?
Well, actually, World in Conflict, it's this RTS. It's really a lot of fun in multiplayer. They did some really cool things with it. Company Heroes, another really good one that they put together, like a really solid multiplayer game, and of course Quake Wars, but we expected that to be fun.
Gotcha. PC keeps rolling along. Dan, we're going to let you get back to sleep there, because sleep is hard to come by at E3.
Thanks.
Jeremy Dunham. Jeremy Dunham. What's up, man? It's the second day of E3 2006. We want to know, how has Sony done it this year? What's been the most impressive thing you've seen so far?
The most impressive thing I've seen so far is Heavenly Sword, which is from Ninja Theory. It looks pretty good. It's actually the only game I've seen so far that looks exactly like it did last year in the Target winner, and actually plays well too.
So you've actually put your hands on it, because we saw the video at the presser on Monday, but now you've actually played it.
Yeah, I played it. They had actually a whole bunch of games playable there. They had Resistance, Fall of Man, they had Heavenly Sword, which I already mentioned, F106, Gran Turismo HD, a couple more too, Sonic, all sorts of games.
Give me your top 3 so far on PlayStation 3 that you've actually laid hands on.
Well, so far, I'd have to say number 1 actually belongs to Assassin's Creed, which I myself didn't get to play, but I saw somebody else play it. You know how protective they get, so it's playable, but not by me. Number 2 is Heavenly Sword. Looks great. Number 3 is Resistance. Those guys at Insomniac know how to do a multiplayer game, and you can do 32 players at once, which I played, which was actually pretty awesome.
Sony had a lot of work to do this year at E3, debuting the system, price, and all that stuff. How do you think they stacked up compared to Microsoft and Nintendo?
It's a tough call. It's a really close race this year. At the end of the first conference, I would have told you Sony won. In fact, I thought they did.
That was the only conference.
Well, exactly. But, well, you know what I mean, compared to Nintendo and Microsoft. And then after I started seeing what they were doing, it's really close. I think it breaks down to 3 things. Sony had the best conference when it comes to information. Nintendo had the best presentation. Microsoft had the best playable software. Take all that in consideration. I think that's about an even playing field. It all depends on what happens at the end of the day 3.
Matt, come on, come back.
Hey, how you doing, man?
How's it going, man?
Good.
You got to be pretty excited now. Nintendo's really done it very big this E3.
Yeah.
How satisfied are you with what they've done?
You know, here's the thing. When we went into the conference and they sort of showed everything on big screens, it was blowing up, it was sort of artifacty. I thought, well, you know, I'm not sure I'm really impressed with these graphics, and I am a graphics whore, so it always comes back to that for me, whether Nintendo says it's important or not. But now that we're on the show floor, we've started to play the games, and they're set up on proper TVs and everything. I'm really, really liking everything, and the controller is kind of really living up to my expectations. So I'm really pleased.
Give us your favorite games of the show so far from Nintendo.
Well, I mean, the usual suspects, Zelda, Metroid, and of course Mario. Super Mario Galaxy is my game of the show right now. I think it's amazing. I mean, it's spectacular. It's better than I was hoping for.
Have you noticed that neither one of us has said the word Wii yet? Is that kind of funny?
I'm trying to steer clear of that, yeah. I like Revolution. No, Wii is I'm over it, man. Wii is what it is, and you just got to get past it.
How do you think Nintendo's showing stacks up to what Microsoft and Sony brought to E3 this year?
Well, I think Nintendo's press conference, they had a lot of spirit, and they just came out and they showed everybody that we're all about fun games, we're about multiplayer games, and, you know, maybe graphics are secondary, but we still got some good stuff. And their conference here, I think the fact that their line is the biggest line in E3 history, lined up to see these games, is, you know, a testament to the fact that people are really interested in what they've got. And
Wait. Who told you it was the biggest line in E3 history?
It was announced today that it's the biggest line in E3 history.
By who?
3.5 hours to get in here to see this stuff.
Okay, so the longest wait, not the biggest line.
Well, the longest wait and the biggest line kind of go together, don't they?
Maybe.
I mean, well, beyond that, though, they have great games. I've been playing them. Mario is awesome, man. You get that thing, you get the Wiimote in your hand, and we do call it the Wiimote, man. I know you're not liking that.
So yeah, you're doing it.
I'm doing it. And yeah, we got the Wiimote in the hand, and you pick it up, you play it for 5 minutes, you're like, wow, okay, I get it. This is why this thing is cool.
Cool. Matt Casamassina, head of the IGN Nintendo team. I'm going to let you get back to your fantasy, man. Thanks a lot. As E3 rolls on, the second day comes to a close. You just heard from all of your favorite editors about all the games they're most excited about, but we're not done yet. Check the site for even more on your favorite games, and come right back here tomorrow where we close this thing down.